a new set of eyes on the universe, the Roman Space Telescope. NASA is about to launch a telescope so powerful it will photograph over 1 billion galaxies in just 5 years, and it might finally help us answer the biggest question humans have ever asked. Are we alone in the universe? Today, we're looking at the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, who it's named after, what makes it unlike any telescope before it, and when it launches. Who was Nancy Grace Roman? Before we talk about the telescope, let's talk about the extraordinary woman it's named after. Nancy Grace Roman was born in 1925. Back then, many people believed that science was only for boys. Nancy proved them all wrong. She eventually joined NASA in 1959, becoming its first female executive and later its first chief of astronomy. She is best known for making NASA's Hubble Space Telescope possible, pushing for it, planning it, and championing it for years before anyone else believed it could happen. Scientists called her the mother of Hubble. When NASA named this new telescope after her, it was a way of saying, her work helped us see the universe, and now her name will travel through it. What makes Roman different? You might have heard of the James Webb Space Telescope, the powerful telescope that has been sending us stunning images of distant galaxies and baby stars since 2022. It is extraordinary at looking very, very deeply at one tiny patch of the sky. Roman works differently. Its wide-field instrument is a 300 megapixel camera that's 20 to 30 times more pixels than the camera on your phone. Imagine taking 30 of the most advanced smartphones and stitching them all together just to match the detail in a single Roman image. This giant camera can photograph a patch of sky 100 times wider than Webb can see at once. Imagine the difference like this. Webb is like a magnifying glass, incredible detail, tiny area. Roman is like a wide-angle camera that can photograph a single city in one shot, while still being sharp enough to see every window on every building. In the first 5 years of its mission, Roman is expected to image more than 1 billion galaxies, discover more than 100,000 distant worlds outside our solar system, and detect thousands of supernovae, massive stellar explosions. What questions will it answer? Roman will help scientists tackle two of the biggest mysteries in all of science. What is dark energy? Imagine you kick a football as hard as you can. Normally, it slows down eventually, and it stops. But what if the ball didn't slow down? What if it kept flying faster and faster, shot out of the stadium, and kept accelerating forever? That's exactly what the universe is doing. Everything in space is flying apart and speeding up. Scientists call the invisible force causing this dark energy. It makes up about 68% of the universe, but we have no idea what it actually is. Roman will map billions of galaxies to help scientists track this mysterious invisible kicker and figure out what it is. Question 2. Are there other planets like Earth? Roman has a special instrument called a coronagraph that can block out the blinding light of a star, like using your hand to block the sun, so it can directly photograph the much dimmer planets orbiting around it. On this mission, it will mainly test its skills on larger planets like Jupiter, but every image it takes is teaching us how to eventually find smaller Earth-like planets around other stars, planets that might one day be found to have air, water, or even life. When does it launch? Roman finished construction in November 2025, a huge milestone. Engineers at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center carefully connected its two main segments into a giant clean room, wearing special suits that not even a speck of dust could land on the lenses. It is now going through final testing before transported to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida for launch. Think of this as Roman's boot camp. Engineers are shaking it violently, freezing it to extreme temperatures, and blasting it with radiation to make sure it can survive brutal conditions of a rocket launch and deep space. Right now, in March 2026, we have less than 10 months until launch. The current target is late 2026, with a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket carrying it to a point in space called L2, about 1.5 million kilometers from Earth. To put that in perspective, that's roughly the same as traveling to the moon and back twice. L2 is the same location as the James Webb Space Telescope, giving Roman a perfectly stable, unobstructed view of the universe. Once there, it will begin the biggest survey of the universe ever attempted. Why does it matter to you? You might wonder, why should I care about galaxies billions of light years away? Because every time we discover something new about the universe, we learn something about ourselves. Where did we come from? How did stars form? Are we alone? Roman won't answer all of those questions, but it will bring us closer than ever we've been. And somewhere in those billion galaxies it photographs, there might be a planet a lot like ours, waiting to be found. If Roman discovers a brand new planet, what would you name it? Leave your answer in the comments.